Welcome, everybody, to this Monday Morgan Minute. Just got back from the city council meeting and learned a few things that honestly are good for the city. So one thing that was mentioned is they want to update the building codes for economic development. Hey, I'm all for that. That's been a priority of mine since day one. You can go to my website, www.claymorganformayor.com, and you can go to where I stand and go to the economic development section and read all about my thoughts on what we need to do to update our code and get rid of some of the archaic technology and get into this century so things can be more smooth, more clear, and quicker for our investors who want to invest into Newcastle. Another thing I learned is our message is getting heard. The $6 million deficit is being talked about again. So tonight it was mentioned by a few city council members that the reason we have such a large deficit is due to the way the state works on tax codes and how they minimize the amount of revenue that can be obtained from local governments. And so, albeit they are partly correct, because the state does set the standard and they do tell us what we can do and how much revenue we can have, and they set certain limits to that. So that is true. I dealt with that on the county council, but I remember a meeting it was brought up that some of the former council members were trying to blame the state, and I just looked at them and said, hey, it is what it is. This rule's been in place for a while. We know the rules we have to play within, so we have to deal with the cards we're dealt. And so over a period of time, that was done. And thankfully, by the time I left the county council, we had balanced the budget under the current rules. We just dealt with what needed to be dealt with. That's what you have to do. You have to look the challenge head on and you have to deal with it. So right now, the good news is it's being talked about. So that means whether I'm in that seat or Mayor Greg Yort's in that seat, it must be dealt with. We cannot continue to build a deficit and try to function in a deficit year after year after year. It must be addressed. Whatever the rules are, the rules are. It still must be addressed. So anyways, just give you that little update. Thank you for hanging in there with me for a little overtime Monday Morgan Minute.